Hi YouTube, this is Darkon633 and back with another Star Wars review. Today we're going to take a look at the Star Wars 6-inch Black Series Kylo Ren, based on his design from Star Wars Episode VIII The Last Jedi. Now this particular figure, I was having a little bit of a contemplation between the standard release and the Walmart exclusive one, but due to the fact that the Walmart one is around $35 to $40 depending on how it goes, since it hasn't really appeared in most stores yet. There's been conflicting reports. It seems like it's $35 according to the Walmart website. But because of that, I was having a little bit of a hard time deciding between the two releases, and in time I decided to just stick with the standard release. This is actually a pretty decent figure, and I think it has a much better likeness to Adam Driver compared to all the other 6 inches that we've gotten so far. Obviously the first one doesn't really count since it was featured with the helmet, but I think this is still a really nice job, even if it might not be 100% on the mark still. Anyways, we're going to take a look at the box first. The box is in the standard 6-inch scale. It has a picture of Kylo Ren there. Shows that it is 45, since we did need to go back a bit in the releases since I didn't pick this up earlier. And he does have a bio on the back as normal. Now we're going to take a look at the figure itself. The figure itself is actually brand new tooling. A lot of the parts may look like he was reusing parts from the previous releases, but from what I could tell, most of it is actually almost all new. He does include this soft plastic cape, which is the main reason why I wanted to get the Walmart exclusive, but unfortunately the Walmart exclusive did miss out on all the details that are featured on this release compared to that one. The main two accessories outside of the cape is the fully lit lightsaber and an unlit lightsaber hilt, which you can place on the side of his belt. So we're going to quickly do that. It has a little area where you can plug it in, so if you wanted to just store the lightsaber here, so it does fit in snugly. It can be a little bit tricky to get in there in the first place, but it does fit in snugly otherwise. So there you go, you have him just pretty much in a more relaxed pose rather than ready for combat. So we're just going to take off the hilt and place the fully lit lightsaber in his hand once more. And take a look at his articulation. With the cape, it does hinder it a bit, so we're going to actually take it off first. So, first what we're going to do is look at his articulation points. His head is on a ball joint with no hindrance. He does have ball hinged shoulders, ratchets at the elbows with swivels as well. He does have fully jointed wrists with a little bit of opposite movement rather than up and down. It's kind of left and right movement, though mine doesn't really work as well as it should, but it does have that. He has fully jointed waist in two areas for some reason, the top area and another area at the bottom underneath, so that is interesting that you actually have two different areas of waist joint there. Fully jointed hips, although it does get hindered a bit due to the skirt piece, although it's made of a softer material. Swivels at the thighs, double jointed knees, and fully jointed ankles. So you do have quite a bit of articulation, even if it's definitely not the most articulated. It's still really nice that we still have it. What's actually really cool, actually, I forgot to show, is that even though it's a single joint at the elbow, it has almost a pseudo 2 points of articulation there, due to the fact of how far his elbows can bend. So that's really awesome. Next, what we're going to do is take a comparison between this Kylo and some of his older releases. So here is his unmasked version that was released later on in The Force Awakens, which has a pretty decent likeness of Adam Driver, although this one is a lot better in my opinion. And here he is next to the first release we got, which is definitely not the best figure we've ever gotten in the first place. As another comparison, here he is next to Rey, which I think he does scale in decently since he was taller than the character, and Adam Driver is taller than Daisy Ridley. So that's really cool that we actually got in here, and I think it's still a pretty decent release, even if it's not the most perfect figure out there. So overall, even if you got the older releases, I definitely recommend picking this up, since it has a pretty good likeness of Adam Driver if you actually care for the character. And it's still a really nice figure to get overall, since even if the character might not have been the most perfect in general, I think he was a lot better in this film, and they definitely grounded his character up much better than they did in The Force Awakens, even if it wasn't exactly the best. Anyways, I got this one actually on Amazon.com for around $10 and about $11 when you add in the tax, which was definitely worth it. It's still kind of worth it at $20 because of the sculpt is pretty good, even if the character might not be the most favorited. So I highly recommend picking this up if you're a fan of Kylo Ren or just Sith characters in general. Or Sith style characters anyway. Anyways, please comment, rate, subscribe, and check out Hero Club and Hero Taku. Also check Returner Darkon 633, and don't forget to check down the other channels down below. Please check the little bell at the bottom of the screen in order to see my content go up as soon as possible. I'm back on more Star Wars reviews, but for now, I'll be seeing you later, YouTube. Bye.